Hello and welcome into your Bruins fan review for Game 3 of the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals with the Boston Bruins taking a 3-0 lead against the Carolina Hurricanes. This is a Bruins fan review. Try to keep it a little unbiased, but obviously I am biased because I'm a Bruins fan. But let's talk about this game and what really is going wrong for Carolina here, which there's a decent amount going wrong for Carolina here. Obviously, not winning one of the first three games is something that went wrong for them. But there's a lot more to look into at Carolina and how they're really hurting themselves a lot here. The Bruins are doing a lot right, don't get me wrong. But Carolina has one thing going against them that I really feel like I need to stress at the beginning of this video. They have 2 power play goals this playoffs. I'm not sure how many chances they've had, but they had 5 power play opportunities this game, and they blew all 5. And last game, I believe they didn't score in any of them. I know they have one, and I know it's the Aho one. The tip in at the beginning of the game. That might have been last game. I don't think it was. No, it was game 1. And really, this is an issue because you're supposed to use power plays as opportunities to get yourself on the board. And they're really they look terrible out there. They look like they have no structure. It looks like they're just having point men just take shots without purpose, really. For instance, the Dougie Hamilton one that even the announcer called out. But there's a lot of that on their power play. And the only power play goal they have in this series was kind of a gift where Aho got left in coverage. And I could make that shot pass in beer league that Svechnikov made to Aho. I could probably tip that in too, to be honest. But outside of that one goal, the power play just isn't that threatening, and that's been an issue for them. One thing I'd like to note before I start talking about specific things in the game is congrats to David Krejci on 100 career postseason points, which ties Rick Middleton and Johnny Busick for third. I believe Ray Bourque is the leader with 180 something, and then it's a steep drop off, and I think Krejci's actually close to taking second outright. He could do it this postseason, might not. But either way, David Krejci, really underrated player for the Bruins, and I can't stress that enough. If you look at the shots there, Hurricanes led 36-31, not a big difference. Obviously, as you can see, Tuukka with a 35 save, 1 goal against performance. This guy has been lights out and is a big reason why we are where we are right now with a 3-0 lead in the conference finals. It's mind-boggling to me. If you told me this a month ago or 2 months ago, I probably wouldn't believe you that we'd be at this point where we're 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final. It's absurd. McElhinney actually had a quietly good game, and I say quiet because Tuukka Rask on the other side was fantastic. I think McElhinney should be the start for Game 4. He looked a lot better than Mrazek did in Game 1 or 2, as you can tell by the fact we did not score more than 5 goals this game. Before I talk about goals, I a little more detail this time. Let's talk about this crap first period. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 penalties in this period. And it was pretty slanted towards the Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes outshot us 20-6. As you can see, 5 minutes in, 5 scoring chances to none. It felt like the ice was tilted. It felt like it was going in their favor. But when you take 1, 2, 3, 4 penalties against yourself, and 3 of them are Justin Williams, and 3 of them are avoidable by Justin Williams. This guy is your captain. If I was a Hurricanes fan, which thank God I'm not, I would not want to be as infuriated with my team as you should be. I would be pissed at Justin Williams. This is the second game in a row where his antics are just hurting your team. They really are. Last game, I believe, 2 penalties against, and we scored on both of those power plays. Now in the first period where you have the ice tilted against, you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage for just petty stuff. Like, you don't need to do this. He didn't even get called for the one in the bottom middle there where he punched, I can't even remember who that is. Backus. It's Backus. I have that because I needed to talk about the goal that didn't count. But I'm talking about Williams now. This guy, man, he's just beating up Torrey Krug. All 3 penalties were drawn by Torrey Krug. You just need to put your, you need to keep yourself in check. You're the captain, as Marchand did with the C, or maybe. Either way, you get what I'm saying. This guy's been a joke this series, and I hate him. If I was a Hurricanes fan, I would hate what he's been doing for my team this series, which is absolute nothing. It's one thing if he's scoring a bunch of goals, but he's not doing that. He scored one last game in garbage time. Good for you, Justin. But this guy's a joke, honestly. Honestly, a joke this series. And And if you're a Hurricanes fan, you should be pissed at Justin Williams because he's hurting your team. Yeah, you never know. Maybe you get a goal in this period and the game goes a completely different way. Instead, no dice. But I want to talk about the goal that got called back. Well, it was waved off immediately because it was pushed into the net, and I agreed with the call on the ice that it was no goal because this puck does not go in. It Backus, and I want to say that's DeBrusk. I can't tell for sure. They shove in McElhinney into the net with their sticks. It's very clear to me that this should not have been a goal. And I just wanted to touch on that real quick. But Justin Williams, what a joke. We move to the second period where the scoring begins. And the fourth line, the Bruins' depth lines have just been murdering Carolina's depth lines. And that's a big part of why the Bruins are up ahead in this series. In the fourth line, Kuraly, Wagner, and Nordstrom will get on the board to start here. Very good work on the boards by Wagner and Nordstrom to force a turnover. Puck falls to Kuraly. Kuraly does a nice little fake pass, and then he does a backhand down to Nordstrom who receives it, and you can start at the bottom and go from the top there. Nordstrom gets it, slides across to Wagner, alone in front of the net. A lot of Hurricanes puck watching, and the Bruins get the first goal of the game less than 2 minutes into the second period. This was a shot straight to the knee that crippled the Hurricanes in this one because they were very much the better team up until this point, and after this point, I'd argue this is where the game turned around because you could feel the Hurricanes just did not believe in themselves. And the Bruins went on to outshoot them 18-6 this period compared to what Carolina did in the first of 20-6. So from this point on, I thought the Bruins were the better team. You then go to a little later in the second period, about 5 minutes later, Brad Marchand would get on the board. Unfortunate penalty for Nino Niederreiter. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me a penalty, a power play courtesy of Nino Niederreiter. I know some Carolina beat reporter says that all the time. But anyway, slash in the face by Niederreiter Krejci sends the Bruins to the power play. As you can see, entry into the zone. Krejci with the pass to Marchand. Very good pass by Krejci. I can't stress enough how great Krejci is. Nine assists so far, and he has a few goals to go along with that. Marchand takes it in from the point there. Goes backhand, hits off DeHaan's hand, as you can see in the top right, and goes 5-hole on McElhinney. Tough break for McElhinney there. And unfortunately, his team couldn't put up more goals for him, especially after that first period. That's got to be pretty frustrating as a goalie back there. You then move on to Calvin DeHaan getting the goal. And this was off a face-off. Simple. They win the face-off. Coverage does not get out to DeHaan in time. No one gets out to block his shot. Wide open look, but this one does have to be saved by Tuukka. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see it going from top to bottom. Face-off, win, shot wind up, and then you can see where the puck is right there in front of Tuukka. Somehow it squeezes 5-hole. This is one of the few goals that Tuukka definitely wants back, but somehow it slips through. DeHaan forces it to make it a 2-1 game. And it would be a pretty tight game from this point on, I'd say. I'd say in the third period it was very tight. Low shots compared to the first two periods in the third. There would be a goal that was called back, and I did agree with this call because, here's the thing. If they call it no goal on the ice, they're not going to call it a goal. That's just what it's going to be now, for the most part. It feels like they usually go with in a 50-50 decision, I should say. It seems like they go with the ref's decision on ice, and you can definitely argue Slavin, there's not a whole lot of contact here, and DeBrusk is trying to go to the front of the net. Definitely makes contact with McElhinney. If you want to say Slavin is pushing him over into McElhinney, I get your argument, but this isn't one you lose sleep over, I think, because you can see the rationale here. DeBrusk goes to the front of the net, does make contact with McElhinney. You can argue Slavin forces him to it, but you can also make an argument Jake DeBrusk is the one who initiates contact, in my opinion. And since the call on the ice is no goal, McElhinney doesn't have a fair play on the puck. I think we can all agree with that, whether it's caused by Slavin's push or DeBrusk's push. So they're going to go with the call on the ice here since it's a 50-50, and they call it no goal. It didn't really bother me at the time, to be honest. I know some people were bothered by this. This one didn't bother me. I put the picture in the top right there because when the call on the ice is no goal, it's a 50-50. It's usually going to go with the call on the ice. I think I repeated myself like 3 or 4 times there, but I'm rolling. Then we go to post-game thoughts on Carolina, and here's a quote. If you guys can read that, I'm not sure how big it will be or if it will be blurry. Not the best tech. But Justin Williams on being down 3-0, employing an analogy from Rob Brindamore. You know the toothpaste where you can always squeeze a little bit more out of it? we're going to try to squeeze as much as we can out of our toothpaste here. We've got plenty left in it. Now, that's a lot better than his quote last game about the sandwich, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to lower myself to say that. But that's what you want to say from your captain. And he can say all this stuff off the ice. But as I'm saying, he needs to get his crap together on the ice and keep himself in check. Because you can say all that type of stuff and you can try to come up with these little motivational things to get your guys behind you. But if you're going out on the ice being a complete dickhead like Williams has been, you're not gonna have your troops following you. And I respect Williams in his whole career, but in this series, man, wow, But anyway, you gotta look at the Corsi 5-on-5. The Carolina Hurricanes have a decent amount of their players, but as you can see, they have a decent amount of players, over 50%. But as you can see, their whole bottom six is low 40s, if not under 40. Then getting absolutely torched by them. Their top lines are doing good, but their top lines seem just to... It's not high quality chances you're getting. This is only 5-on-5 in the top right that I'm looking at to make sure you're not looking at the left. But it's really just a lot of high volume and not a lot of high quality against Tuukka. And granted, Tuukka has to make these saves. But for instance, the reason they're scoring 1 goal a game is because their 1 goal a game is from the shots that DeHaan takes. And it feels like they've had a little bit of bad puck luck too, I'll be honest there. But I think they need to be a little more selective. I think that's just what it is. They're not making the extra pass to get a guy open, and they're just taking the shot. Because these guys have the legs. They don't have the decision-making ability right now to get higher quality chances. And if you go to the power play, 5 power play opportunities. Some of them I think got cut short, but still. You have over 3+ power plays in this one. Last game, I think you had 4, I want to say. I think they went 0-4 last game and then 0-5 this game. So that's 0-9 in the last 2 games, which is unacceptable. When you go back to this game, you're going to look at 0-5 on the power play and be like, well, we lost by 1 goal. If we could have got one of those goals, if we could have got a goal on any of the 5 power play opportunities, where would we be now? Would we be down 2-1 with a home game on Thursday to tie the series and send it back to Boston? And that's really going to be the thing that probably drives Carolina fans nuts thinking about after this game. Now, as you can see, Dougie Hamilton, 16 attempts for. You can see pretty decent power play, only 1 attempt against. We're going to move on to the Bruins, Corsi and stuff like that. As you can see, a lot of the big names are under 45%. And the depth guys really brought us up. As you can see, the first pair in the first line, pretty terrible games. You can make an argument that I thought Chara actually had a good game despite seeing this Corsi. He looked good on the ice. I thought McAvoy looked fine as well, but sometimes these advanced analytics I don't even consider this that advanced. They don't always line up with what you see. I did think the first line was kind of irrelevant, but I really thought it was because Carolina's top 6 was just outplaying them when they were on the ice. Home ice advantage. They're gonna get the matchups they want. They had the Stahl line against the Bergeron line a decent amount, and that line did a good job of neutralizing them to an extent. And as you can see, a lot of depth players, Clifton and Grizzly. What a third pair defense for defense that the Bruins have. They've just been amazing. And how about that rush up the ice by Clifton? Up the far right side, looking like Bobby Orr in his prime, minus the scoring. Got a chance, but not a great chance, but still, that's skating ability. He whips around the ice. He's a great skater. Sean Cry, Joachim Nordstrom, Wagner. So you have the 4th line and the 3rd D pair as the top 5 chance Corsi percentage, chances for against chances. Or I'm misspeaking there. Chances for compared to chances against. They're top. In the top 5, when you have your first pair and your first line, are the bottom 5, which is very interesting. And Jake DeBrusk, good game in my opinion. Wagner, good game. Yeah, a decent amount of Bruins who haven't had the best of times in the playoffs having good games. Carlo is, for a defensive defenseman, there's been a lot of chances for lately when he's been on the ice, which is pretty strange compared to what he was in the regular season. As you see, Krug with the 2nd most chances for at 18, and Carlo because they're together on the pair. As you can see with the Bruins power play, almost 10 less chances. I want to say that's 8 less chances, but they get a goal. And the Bruins were 1 for 5 on the power play, which isn't good. But if you look at the end of the day, what is the difference? The Bruins got a power play goal. They went 1 for 5 on the power play. Carolina went 0 for 5. So really, it just comes down to that. Carolina's got some issues that they got to sort out. And Winning 4 straight against the Bruins, man. Not to sound confident or cocky, but you're not going to do that probably. I'm just going to say that flat out. And you might win a game. You might win 2. But to win 4 in a row against the Bruins, where 2 of the 4 are in the TD Garden, I don't like your odds. I really don't. I do still think you guys will win a game. I kind of think you guys are going to win game 4 just because there has been some bad puck luck. Is that going to turn around the momentum enough? No, I'm still sticking with my prediction from the last video, Bruins in 5. I think you guys win game 4. I'm going to pick the Bruins in my little pool I do with my friends. But it wouldn't shock me if Carolina wins game 4, Bruins close out in 5, because Carolina has shown some good things, and they're going to have I just think they're going to have good luck in game 4, just because they've had a decent amount of bad luck. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, one thing left to mention is Chris Wagner was seen in a sling after the game. I don't know how serious that is. They haven't released a lot, but it looks like Achari's going to take his spot, which I'm not happy to see that, because Wagner's been great. But Achari can definitely plug and play on that 4th line. But I think losing Chris Wagner is a little more impactful in the lineup than some people want to admit, because Wagner has brought a little bit of offense to the games lately. I believe he's on a 2-game goal streak, or he has 2 goals in the last 3 games. It's something like that. I'm getting games 1 and 2 mixed up since I reviewed them together. But Zone Achari, Tuukka and Camper off the ice. Those are rest days. Camper, he's not going to crack the lineup unless someone's injured. But that's all I really have for you today on thoughts. And look at that man in the top right there, Tuukka Rask, love from the boys. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up button. Leave a comment with any thoughts on the game. Hit the subscribe button if you like my Bruins coverage. I'll be back for the Game 4 review, which is on Thursday night. I do have work Friday, so I'm going to try to get that out Friday before I go to work. But it might not be out till Saturday. We'll see. You'll see it appear when I upload it. Thank you for watching if you've watched up to this point, and I'll see you in the next video. Go Bruins.